I lay me down, let's get this off my chest first. Excerpt of my life, I call it my next verse. I'm stressed, keep it in perspective, I'm an expert about this Northwest way of life, hey, it could end worse.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another amazing episode.
Whoa. Hold on.
What? What's up?
You've been doing so many podcasts that I think you got confused, man. This is my show. We're not doing yours till a little bit later.
Oh man. Okay. All right. I'm with you. I have my host hat on, and okay. All right, brother. I'm here.
Welcome in, everyone. This is episode number 9 of UpLeft State of Mind, the podcast where it's okay to not be okay. This is the show that unpacks the pressure, the pain, and the process from mental health struggles to finding your identity, the healing process, and even ways that we can grow as individuals. There's no fluff. There's no filter. It's just raw conversations with people who are learning how to hold it all or how to let it all go. I'm your host, Rizzle. Whether you're tuned in from somewhere inside the beautiful Pacific Northwest or anywhere else, this is your safe space. This is a place to breathe, and it's a place to remember it's okay to not be okay. Let's get into it. So, as you guys can see, we have a guest here. If you've watched the episode, the podcast before, you know that I like to do a self-check at the beginning of every episode. Just a quick temperature check, see how I'm feeling, see how my emotions are, and just kind of make sure that I'm all right. Like always, especially this time of year, I'm kind of stressed out about work. That's a given. I think everyone can kind of relate to that. Other than that, it's still kind of same thing that it's been, man. Everything else is good. Music is good. The podcast is good. Family life is good. I wish I had more time in the day, kind of, so that I could do some more things, you know. So that's kind of stressful. But other than that, I think we're chilling, man. We're doing good. So let's introduce our guest. Today we have Alexander J from People Helping People Live. Now, man, this is such an honor to have you on. He is a podcast host. He's a musician. He is just an entrepreneur, and he's an inspiration to me, and I know to a lot of people. And bro, welcome to the show.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. It is so tough. I thank you for that intro. Thank you for having me on your show. But it's so tough to take off this host hat. You could rewind it and see me going to reach for the applause.
I watched. I saw it a couple times. Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah. I wanted to hit mine too, but for some reason, the last couple episodes, I haven't been able to get my buttons to go through the microphone. All the inputs and everything is good, so that's just something that I'm kind of dealing with right now. So I don't have an applause right now.
Right. So, I just have to ask real quick, does your applause get you demonetized too?
I don't know. I got it. I stole it from YouTube, but it said free to use, so I'm hoping not.
Yeah. You'll know because it's your first Facebook Live, right?
Yes.
Bro.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you guys are over on YouTube or on Facebook, come check out the YouTube, hit the sub button, thumbs up the video over there. All that cool stuff you guys do every day on all those other YouTube videos. So, yeah, welcome in everybody, dude. Okay. So where do I start, man? Why don't you just, first of all, tell everybody just a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, man. Yeah, my name's Alexander J. You know, I've done a lot of things in my life. I've always said that I've lived 20 lives of anybody my age, you know, and yeah, I'm a type 1 diabetic who's got Crohn's disease, and I speak about those things very openly and try and be as candid as I can to let people know they're not alone in the world, you know, and I think that's super important. But, you know, I've done so many different things in life, from being a roughneck in the oil field to, you know, just going through my diabetic journey of, you know, being in hospitals in and out for a couple of years because of Crohn's and diabetes. And then, you know, I've worked my way up a corporate ladder in sales and I've made music along the way through the past 20 some odd years. So, I'd like to say that I'm an entrepreneur, but it's we're hungry. We're hungry entrepreneurs. So, yeah, just a lot of endeavors and a lot of paths in life. And I feel like that's led me to where I'm at today, which is, bringing that experience back to the people and living with purpose and giving myself who I am truly unfiltered to the people.
Man, that's beautiful. So, and I remember you mentioned working in the oil fields. I remember watching that happen on your Facebook and just seeing you out there just grinding, man. And that was so cool to see somebody out there just doing that. What did that do for you? Like, what go through that a little bit, because that was tough, right? Like those were long days and long weeks and long everything.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think the real question is like, how deep do we want to dive? Because there was so much more than just going and working 16-hour days, 20 days in a row, every day of the week, 7 days a week. And then you get 10 days off, and sometimes we'd work through those days off and it'd be negative 30 degrees outside with a negative 60-degree wind chill. And so we're out there looking like we're on, what is the name of that movie where he laid there like a slug? It was only his only defense.
Man,
Christmas Story? No. What movie is that? But
yeah,
you know what I'm talking about,
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I was just bundled up to the gills, right? But I think that the main thing about like the oil field for me was I was real sick prior to that. I got diagnosed with these real scary things, and it almost killed me multiple times. And my recovery was a part of my recovery was wanting to prove to myself that I still had it in me, that I could earn respect through hard work, and that I could get after it in a different way, and and really put myself to the physical test. Because for anybody that knows, we are wireliners out there, and we're like the Marines of the oil field. Like, we're out there, boots on the ground, freaking pipe wrenches, building huge bombs, super dangerous. And just to prove to myself, and I was suffering with Crohn's and diabetes the whole time I was out there, and just I earned the respect through work, and it was the best decision I ever made, because I don't think I'd be here today without it.
Man, so that's just basically a story of you just being battle tested, faced adversity, and you said, you know what, I don't care, I'm gonna go and do something that's so hardcore. Like, I'm gonna prove to myself that not only like I can do this, I can work, and I'm gonna do something crazy. Like,
It was the extreme for sure.
Yeah, dude. So I see the t-shirt.
Come on, shout out Penny and Benny. Y'all need some merch, go hit our boy up.
People helping people. Let's talk about people helping people a little bit,
dude.
Where did it come from? Where did the name come from?
Ooh, good question, man. I think it's just like sitting there workshopping ideas, right? Because I always wanted to start a podcast, and I'm like, how can I have something that would be an umbrella that could encompass everything that I love? And that's art, that's music, and that's business. And I'm like, man, and the thing is, so this umbrella, I'm thinking, okay, so these are the things I love to talk about. These are the people that I love to talk to. And I really want to build out my ecosystem of the people that are doing it. It's kind of a cheat code for me. I get to talk to these people and to have a platform to be able to have these discussions with the people that are already doing it. It's just surrounding myself by people that are smarter and better and working in the avenues that I wanted to work in and be a part of, right? So I'm like, man, what's all encompassing? And I couldn't think of anything better than shaking somebody's hand and thinking about how I, as a human being on this planet, can help other people. And I'm like, man, what about people helping people? What about that? Would that work? Could we break that down? Like, is that going to be an all-encompassing thing? And I think it is. And I ran with it, man. I just ran with it.
That's so awesome. I absolutely love the podcast. I love the idea. I love everything about it. What, you're on chapter 2 right now?
Yeah, bro. We are on chapter 2.
So tell us about chapter 2.
Yeah. So chapter 2 is called the Give Back. And the Give Back is essentially grabbing our community that we built over there and seeing what we can do, seeing how we can be people helping people, seeing how we can come together and actually make a difference. And as mentioned before, and I feel like I don't want to like reiterate too much from my podcast too, but it's like, as a person with type 1 diabetes and Crohn's, I know how alone you can feel in those moments, and I know how painful it can be, and the lack of understanding from the people around you can be so overwhelming. So chapter 2 is about giving back. And we started gosh, not a GoFundMe. We started a donation. Gosh, what is it even called? I'm struggling.
I don't know, just like
Yeah, so
I know it. It's like a link where you can go and you can donate to.
That's it. Yeah.
Your cause.
Yeah, exactly. So essentially, we're sponsoring kids to go to Camp ASDA, AZDA, and that's a camp here that's a week long, and it's just allowing kids to be amongst other type 1 diabetics, because a lot of kids, their parents aren't diabetics, their grandparents aren't diabetics, their friends aren't diabetics, and they're alone going through this disease, and their parents are trying to be doctors. It's like that's their only care. That's the only way that they can be helped is by their parents. So it's near and dear to my heart, and we named it the Give Back because we fundraising. Gosh dang, come on, man. I'm so bad. But we're fundraising. We're fundraising to help sponsor these kids to go to Camp ASDA.
And what is, and just so if people are more interested in that, I would love to throw a link in the description of this video too, so people can check that out. What does it take to get a child to go to that? Like, what's the cost for like one child to go to that?
Yeah, man, it's not cheap. It's $1,000.
Okay.
1,000 to 1,200, just depending on where they're at. Because I would love to be able to fly kids in if I can. I don't want it to be secluded.
Yep.
So it's expensive. And I just, I had somebody on my podcast where this camp she went to 24 years ago, and her name is Amanda Cardenas. Shout out. But she went to this camp 24 years ago, and it turned her into an advocate for type 1 diabetes, and now she sponsors kids to go. And so hearing those stories, like, gosh, if I could plant that seed in a kid and let them just understand that they can cross-pollinate and do the same thing for others in the future, like, man, impactful.
That's so impactful, and it's so awesome that you're doing something like that you're taking on. I mean, some people just look at that and go, man, that's a lot of money. Like, but you're like, no, we're going to do this. We're going to put the thing up here and we're going to get people to do it. We don't care how much it's going to cost. We don't, and that's life-changing stuff, bro. So like,
yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
I wish my applause button worked right now. There we go. There we go. You deserve it, man. It's been so cool to see your podcast journey. The 30 streams in 30 days was wild. My mind is to the max doing 2 episodes a week, and so it's, what is the podcast journey done for your, well, wait, let me back up.
Sure.
Can we get just a quick overview of like what your mental health journey has looked like in your life?
Ooh, good question. Big question. Before I dive into that, I want to say what up to Rich, a legend in the house.
Yeah.
What's up, brother? And the Oregon landscaper too. We see you guys out there. But yeah, sorry, man. I got to take off this host hat. I apologize.
No, I thought my chat is not refreshing, so thank you for that.
Oh, yeah, I got you. So my mental health journey, man, I mean, it's a very broad question, and I feel like, there's a constant balance and imbalance act. It's constantly just surveying and, like you said, checking in with yourself, right? Those self check-ins are so important. And, I think when I was younger, prior to getting sick, there was a lot of ego involved. There was a lot of things that needed to die, things that needed to go that were inside of me that being stripped of everything took care of that. It stripped me of my manhood. It stripped
Yep.
me of everything. And it allowed me to move forward in a different way. And, so I think that the mental health journey, is a lifelong one, to
Mm-hmm.
be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's forever something that you need to work on. You forever need to check in with yourself. You forever need to check in with the ones around you, because their mental health, if they're in your vicinity, is just as important as yours. That energy exchange is so important. But yeah, man, I mean, right now I feel like I'm in a beautiful place. And I still struggle. I still struggle just like the next guy.
Yeah.
If my health starts to decline, there's things like cognitive function and ability because of my diabetes and Crohn's that starts to decline, which makes me feel less of a intelligent, well-spoken individual at times, and especially being a podcast host when I want to be eloquent. I want to
Yeah.
land the plane. I
Uh-huh.
want to ask the great questions. And sometimes it hurts, man. It hurts, and I beat myself up because I physically am going through things.
Right.
And so, yeah, yeah. To answer your question sweetly, it's a balancing act, and I'm constantly under construction.
Yep. Well, and I think we all are. Um, that's it's nice to see. It's nice to hear that that I'm not the only one that's trying to balance, everything constantly. Uh, what has having the podcast what has that done for you? I mean, it's not like we like to be like, "Oh, I'm doing this good thing, for people." So, but like stuff like that, doing things for other people tends to fill people's cups sometimes,
Mm.
And so, do you get something? I mean, you have to get something from some sense of joy or fulfillment or something just from sharing people's stories. I mean, you give people flowers every episode, and that has to be great because people don't get that all the time.
Bro, it is the best thing I've ever done in my life. I cannot emphasize enough how finding purpose and service is the best thing that anybody can ever do for themselves and the people around them ever. And I have found that. I found it. I figured it out. Like, I feel like here it is. The world put me in this place at this time to utilize these tools, this voice, this mindset, my experiences, to be able to give people an opportunity to feel heard and seen. And that is crazy. It's done so much, bro.
Yeah, that's and it really, it's so cool. Like when I get done with an episode, like even just talking to people, about their story and that, like I like feel good. I walk out and I'm like, oh man, like I want to go and like conquer the world. Like it just feels so good to be able to let others share their story.
Dude,
Uh,
yeah, and the thing is with this type of conversation, you're asking questions that nobody in passing or a regular conversation would ever ask. And everybody has a story about triumph and struggle and everything else that they've gone through that they never get to fucking share. Excuse my language.
no, you're
That
fine.
never get to share. And to be able to platform somebody and be like, good on you. You deserve the flowers. You deserve this trophy in this
Yeah.
moment because you're strong and people deserve to hear about your strength because they need it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like a tool that people can use, like our viewers can relate. Like that's one of the things I love about getting people to open up about their dark times. And it's not to bring up trauma or have the guest relive anything, but it's just to like set the stage so that we can give the tools to everyone. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
um, speaking of tools, do you have what a segue?
I
Do
like
you
it.
have what are your outlets for like when you feel like you need to escape?
Man, that is an ever evolving thing as well. But I do have some staples, man. And, I think since I've been in a relationship the last 6 months, my outlets have changed. When I was a single guy for a very long time, music was always my therapist. Always. I could sit down, I could put on a beat or grab a guitar or play a little piano, and I would just let it out. And I would sing like my music was so sappy, bro. It was so sad all the time.
Yeah.
But that I didn't have anybody to talk to.
Right.
I always felt as though I was the guy to be talked to about things, and I would give advice, and that was great. Like I love wearing that. It's a heavy crown to wear, but I loved it. And then when I needed somebody, it would be a guitar, or riding dirt bikes, going out into the woods, or taking my truck out into the sand. It doesn't matter, whatever. Like for me, a lot of the crutches that I use either are adrenaline based or emotional music playing.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, and those are both like pretty hardcore outlets. I mean, music has a way of just transforming your mood, or having it has a way to relate to your mood in a way that you feel like you can get some emotion out.
Yeah.
I talked about a little bit in one of my episodes about how when you're feeling down and you're hitting rock bottom, or you're just having a real terrible go at it, we tend to listen to music that relates to our mood. But I like recommended, maybe when you're feeling down, listen to some happy stuff, or listen to something that's upbeat. It's going to be difficult at first, and you're like, I'm not in the mood for this. Like, I don't want to. But it's such a little step that can have such a big impact. You have to like fake it till you make it a little bit. And I've talked about that a lot lately on the show, and I just want to reiterate that, because people go through hard times and they don't. I've been there, and it's tough. It's hard to wake up in the morning and want to put a smile on, and sometimes you just have to pretend and get that initial bit of something out of it.
I'm so glad you said that, man, because recently, for one, I want to touch on that, because you said if maybe just going through life, I found myself going through life multiple times where I'm like, man, I'm not listening to music right now.
Yeah.
I'm feeling depressed. I'm going to put on some good frequency music. And I think that that's perfect segue to what I'm about to talk about. But putting on some good music, and if you can literally type into Spotify like high vibration or high frequency music playlists,
Yeah.
and it'll be things like the Beatles and all these artists that put together with the thought process of feeling a certain way when you're listening to it, and that's real. But the thing is, I now have stopped listening to music with terrible lyrics, unless I'm in the gym. That's a little different.
Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah.
let the animal out. But
Yeah.
but like being mindful of the actual lyrics that are coming out of people's mouths, which I've never done before. And that's a real thing too. So there's step one of putting on the good music, and then kind of boiling that down a little bit more to even fine tuning it and realizing that those words, the spelling they're spells. They're casting spells, and that is internally in your head for the day. So those two things are super important.
Yeah. No, I feel like that's super true, because like if I'm listening, I'm the type of person that listens to one song. I'll get like one song that makes me feel good, or I'm like, yeah, this is, and that might be my anxiety, that might be my OCD. I don't know what it is, but
I'm the same, bro.
yeah. And then I'll listen to it for like 2 or 3 days, and then those words, it'll be like one part of the song, and I'll wake up in the middle of the night and it's like saying those words, and I'm like, man, and it's just like so ingrained in your brain. So yeah, it does have an effect on on how you feel, and the way that you're going to live your life even, so yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. If you don't mind, can we talk about a dark time in your life, or maybe a time that you felt you were at rock bottom?
Let's run it.
Just
Yeah.
to set the stage, because obviously you made it, you kicked that shit and you made it out. So I would love to hear where you were, and then how we went forward from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I think I've lived a lot of lives, so there has been moments where I definitely felt like rock bottom was right there. I could feel it, breathe it, touch it. It was just everything around me was crumbling, and I've started from zero multiple times in my life. I've been homeless 3 times over, and worked my way back up into being, a member of society, and whatever, feeling successful to myself. But yeah, I would say, the yeah. Let me think about that for just a second, because yeah, let's not get emotional about this, but I'll break it down. I remember when I first got sick, I was in the hospital, and I'm bleeding out of every orifice of my body. So the Crohn's mixed with the diabetes was killing me, and I was losing weight so rapidly. I was in a state of ketoacidosis, they call it. And so I'm in and out of the ER. And I remember specifically one night being in the ER. I'm down to about 130 pounds. I walk around at about 170, 175. So I'm down to 130. And I'm sitting next to this guy who's having grand mal seizures because I'm in ICU. And the guy next to me, he's dying of cancer. And I'm sitting in the midst of them, and I have all these tubes hooked up to me. And I remember my mom calling me, and at the time my nana was dying, her mom, her best friend, and she's crying on the phone. And I just remember this guy having seizures, me muting the phone because I didn't have the heart to tell my mom that I too was dying. And so I would mute the phone, and so she couldn't hear the heart monitors and everything else. It's chaos. I mean, it's the ICU. They're wheeling people in and out.
Yeah.
It's absolute chaos. And I just was trying to be her comfort blanket through all of that. And yeah, I was like, this is the absolute worst, because I cannot die right now because it would kill my mother
Right.
100%. Like, there's no coming back from that.
Yeah.
But it gave me strength to know that I had to stick around. And for the first 6 months of being in and out of the hospitals, I didn't tell my mom, didn't tell my dad, nobody knew. And yeah, I remember feeling my heart rate slow and thinking that I could just let it go. Like, I felt like I had the option a few times to just say, okay. And I was okay with it. I was 28 years old. I'm like, dude, I've lived so many lives. I've done so much. But I knew that I had a niece and a nephew and a sis and a ma. And I'm like, man, I got to tough it out. I got to stick around.
Yeah. Man, thank you for sharing that. I can't imagine what that would feel like to, I mean, yeah, like you would have to just suck it up and be there for your mom at that moment. And that's, man, um,
Yeah, it was scary. It was really scary on so many different fronts, and yeah, that was a dark one for sure.
yeah. So what did where did you find the strength? I mean, you talked about just having to be there for your mom. Is that what you just held on to and tried to move forward with, solely like that, the strength from that?
Yeah, good question. I would say that was definitely a piece of it,
Hmm.
but my niece at the time, she was just young, man. She was so little, and I just love being an uncle. And I'm like, dang, I know I got something to share with these kids. I know I've got so much wisdom and love to be able to give to these kids. And I know that the thought of me being an uncle in the future and what I'm doing right now, building what I'm building, is going to be able to let them have leverage in their life to do whatever it is that they want to do. And I'm so happy that I did. But I mean, that was what was filling my cup at the time, for sure.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Um, man, it's I'm seeing a trend here with guests, and the main thing that I'm noticing that people lean on and I mean, it might not be a shocker to anyone, but you know, the main thing I'm seeing when people lean on when they're in a dark time is just family, you know, loved ones. Whether it's with direct support like from them, or whether it's using them as motivation, to prove them wrong, or whether it's the motivation that you need to be able to be there for them, or
Yeah, those crutches are so important, and you have to realize that the people around you want to help. And you know, if you don't have people around you, you can ask because people want to help. A lot of the time, you know, and maybe you've been in situations where you haven't been helped and you have like this chip on your shoulder about it. And but don't ever be afraid to let people in and open yourself up, because most people in the world want to help,
and it's so hard to be vulnerable.
bro.
It's so hard to be vulnerable, especially with like serious things, you know, like the fact that you didn't tell your family for what, 6 months you said, or something like that. Just that's I mean, you just put people in front of you, in front of yourself, you know, and that just shows so much about your character, that you wanted to see what was going on first before you know, you wanted to make sure that you could get a handle on it and that you had control. And I mean, that's what it seems to me, that you wanted to take the stress of it, and you didn't want to put that on your family members at all. And that's so just, it's a major decision. And I'm glad that you have, because obviously you have the support of your family now and all of that. And it makes me happy that you let them in, and you know,
Bro.
because dude, family's so
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, for one, the mic cord, tapping on that mic,
Oh, is it?
turn up the audio a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. But yeah, I
That's a
mean,
rapper thing.
yes, I knew it
Damn
was. I
chords
knew
so
it
I don't
was.
trip over it.
Yep. Um, but yeah, man, I mean, you know, after I told them, that was just the beginning of the journey. You know,
Yeah.
I spent 2 years in and out of the hospital. And then, like I said, coming to a point where I was so freaking prideful, so freaking stubborn, that I did not want to ask for help. And my mom finally flew down and she saw me, and I'm 120 pounds. She had to remind me because I'm on 7 different drugs, including morphine and all this other stuff to kill the pain. And I'm just in my bed the whole time. She had to remind me that I needed help opening a water bottle. Like, I was so weak. I was using the railing to get up the stairs. And so she came down to visit and thought it was the last time she was going to see me. And she ended up flying my sister and my cousin down, and they would save face and in front of me be smiling and having fun, and then they'd leave the room and just bawl their eyes out because
Yeah.
they thought it was the last time they're going to see me. And you know, at 28, first time, or no, almost 30 years old, first time ever asking for help from my parents. I was like, I'm going to die if I stay here. And I asked for help, and then I was almost a 30-year-old man living at my parents' house recovering.
So what did that journey look like? What did the recovery journey look like? I mean, because obviously you're back to 175, walking around, you know, feeling good. It seems like so.
Yeah, man. Good question. And that recovery was a very long process. First off, I needed to get my Crohn's under control, and I did not know how. Everything that I read was like, do this for Crohn's, do this for diabetes, and those two were conflicting. So I'm like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't. Every piece of literature I read, it's like, this is wrong, this is right, and do both. And I'm like, hold on. So first, step one was healing my gut. And, you know, I ate nothing but it was a stew. It was potatoes, celery, carrots, and onions blended up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 6 months with water. It was the most, it wasn't good. I'll just say
Wow.
that. I ate that for 6 months to try and give my stomach a break so
Yeah.
it could rest and heal. And I'm still like having like crazy amounts of pain, and I'm still bleeding, and I'd be coughing up blood because my stomach hurts so bad, throwing up in the bathtub while I'm sitting on the toilet, like just miserable. And I finally got to a point where I'm like, okay, if I don't start moving, I'm gonna die. I need to move my body. And so I went to the gym. Well, first I started off with a couple of dumbbells at the house, and it would be just like 2 reps.
Yeah, getting your strength back a little
Okay.
bit.
All right. I did it. 2 reps. And I had 30s, and they were way too heavy for me, but I was
Yeah.
like, all right, 2 reps. And then the next day, 4 reps. Okay, cool. And I built and built and built. And then eventually I go into the gym and I do the Stairmaster for 2 minutes. Next day, 5. Next day, 7. Next day, 10. Dripped in sweat, sore from head to toe, like not even doing anything.
Right. Right.
So my body had atrophied so far. But eventually I built up until, it took me a long time, but finally built up to the point where I'm like, you know what? Let's go take on the hardest fucking job in America.
Yeah. So how did that, were you like ready to go right away when you got out there? I mean, was there a process? Like, was your body ready to take it
Hell no.
immediately? No.
Hell no. I was so not ready.
Yeah.
And I remember after day 1, so we get out there and I'm like immediately overwhelmed. Like it is absolutely insane. Everybody's covered in oil, hard hats on. They got their pipe wrenches. They're carrying these giant bombs on their shoulders. There's cranes swinging around with giant loads, and they're pulling it down from the crane that are like 60,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Putting it on the ground and breaking. It's crazy. And I remember after day 1, I'm having a hypoglycemic attack outside of Walmart. And my blood sugar, that means my blood sugars are tanking. So my blood sugars are tanking. And I feel I'm starting to sweat and I'm starting to shake. And I grab my cart because I had to go in to get some kind of sugar in my body. And I'm hunched over my cart, and my feet are full of blisters, like a huge blister sack inside of my boots. And I'm hunched over my cart, and it took me an hour and a half to get through a grocery store
Yeah.
to get some freaking sugar in my
Oh my
body.
God.
But I didn't fucking stop.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's got to be such an extreme change from doing, being in a hospital bed, and then, however many months later, you're like, I'm going to go work in an oil field.
Stupid. I don't recommend it for anybody.
Rich has a question. He says, AJ, what or how would you say you deal with severe stress that might affect your mental health?
Ooh, great question, Rich. I think I'm just like everybody else. Like, I think severe stress can get the best of me. In the past 2 weeks, for example, my Crohn's has been flaring up really bad. And I'm trying to keep it together for you guys as listeners of my podcast. And, it affects my blood sugars when it's out of whack. So now my blood sugars are going all over the place, which screws up my cognitive health. So, and it's the snowball. And then you get in your head about, all these other, I'm running a business too on top of that. So great question, Rich. All that to say, there are a few outlets that I utilize, one of which is the gym. I absolutely need the gym. And my girlfriend always asks if I'm okay when I'm in the gym because I'm in there just fighting demons.
I love the gym.
I do too. And nobody who didn't go to the gym and starts going says their life has got worse.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't
oh, man. Even you have the worst day, and then you're like, all right, I'm going to go to the gym. And those are like usually the best workouts, I feel like,
Bro.
You just go, I just go in there, put my headphones in, pretend like I own the place, walk around, and
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
therapeutic.
Yeah, so I would have to say severe stress is the gym, but then I work on things too, man. Like I do think about meditation. I do think about my personal inner talk and not being a dickhead to myself, like I am constantly surveying what I'm saying And of course I slip. But when I'm being really bad to myself, I think about it. Hey, chill out. It's okay. And the other thing is too, and I'm sure everybody can relate to this, I always say that I've been through worse. I've been through worse. I made it through.
Yeah. That's great question, Rich.
Yeah.
Do you back to the diabetes for a minute. Do you have like a glucose like tube or something that you like just has like some straight like sugar paste in it or something?
I don't know. No, I
Okay.
don't. And I should as a diabetic. I'm still learning.
I was gonna say when I was younger, my mom had she got diabetes when she was 11 years old, and so she lived until she was 42. And man, the stories and the things that I could tell and talk about that. But I remember that she had a tube of like glucose whatever, for when she was in. We woke up one morning and her blood pressure or her blood sugar was like 11.
Oh God.
And yeah, it was a tough one. That was a scary situation for sure. But
it gets scary so fast.
oh yeah. Yep,
Gosh.
absolutely. So knowing that you have overcome so much, and that you're doing so well at it, what does that do something for you mentally? Like, I mean, it has to give you some strength or some confidence. I know self-confidence is such an important thing.
Well, yeah, I don't want to say that I'm doing so well at it. I would say, yes, I have overcame a lot. And I wouldn't say that I'm doing so well at it. I have my struggles, like I said, just like everybody else. But it's a constant balancing act, And I heard something interesting. They always say that if a 2-year-old, everybody's worst problem or worst experience is their worst problem or worst experience. So a 2-year-old can get their shoes taken from them, and that is traumatic for a 2-year-old, right? So the things that have happened to me, they are traumatic for me.
Right.
But I always try to put it into perspective and look at life with the lens of understanding, because everybody's most traumatic thing is their most traumatic thing, and everybody's gone through traumatic things. So I don't know if I'm doing a good job or a bad job, but I'm doing the best job that I can, and I just try and stay in tune with what's out of balance.
I would say that from the outside looking in, I would say you're doing pretty good at just setting a great example for others, man.
Well, thank
for
you.
sure.
Thank you.
Let's see here. Who's your biggest motivator in life?
Ooh, good question, man. I don't want to be like Snoop Dogg. It'd be like, I want to thank me for all this. I want to thank me.
Yeah.
No, but I think that I draw. I just think that's the funniest thing. I put that on a clip that I put up, and I'm like, "Yeah, Snoop, talk that shit." But you should feel that way to a
Yeah.
degree, right? And I think everybody should pat themselves on their own back.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to sit here and do that. I'm gonna give you an example, but I think anybody at home, like, be proud of yourself. It's okay. Give yourself a pat, because you have made it this far, and life is this hard. And if you keep the mantra that I've been through worse, then you can handle it. It's going to be all right.
Yeah.
But my biggest motivator, sorry about that tangent, but let's see.
Oh, no, it was good.
I've been blessed to be surrounded by incredibly strong, quick-witted, intelligent individuals my whole life. My mother, my little sis, I got to watch her grow and flourish and become one of the strongest, most incredibly independent, strong-willed, respectful, loving individuals in the world. My father came into my life when I was 5 and adopted me and showed me what love and marriage looked like between my mother and father. And then they had my little sis. And it's like, and all the women in my life, I raised pretty much by women. You know, my pops was working. He was working. We'd have our weekends every now and again, but man, the
Same.
women in my life.
Yep.
Huge shout out to all the women in my life because they and they're strong ass women, like just go getters, hustlers, you know. And so, you know, all love and glory to the women in my life for sure.
Did that make you be more open with your feelings at all growing up?
No,
No, no.
short
Opposite?
answer,
Did it do opposite?
no. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, I always felt like when I was younger, I was the mediator of everybody's problems, which I was okay with because I like to solve problems. I
Yeah.
was that guy. And I was okay with that. And I would hide what I had going on and I would play my guitar and I'd let it out. And then, you know, if there was other issues, but I've come around to being more open about those things through that ego death and the loss of pride and all these things that makes a man that I thought I needed to be, which fucking who cares?
Yeah.
But those things have been stripped from me by the grace of life itself. Just did it naturally, and yeah. So you know, I'm in tune with that stuff now, and I'm okay.
Uh-huh. Well, and that's what I'm trying to do with this show. You know, is just shine a light on people being vulnerable and people being okay sharing their feelings. And it's like I've kind of been I've kind of like talked about that in my music for years and stuff, but it's like it's weird that people find it so refreshing to have somebody, a male, talking about their feelings. Like it should just be the norm, I feel like. And
Yep.
it's, you know, so we're trying to break down some barriers here.
I love it, bro, and you're doing a damn good job. That one's for you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I mean, the reality is, bro. The reality is, you don't understand how big the ripple effect of one conversation can be. And like you said, the fact that you have something surrounding one specific topic, I love that you've niched down to this topic of mental health. You've niched down, and to have there's so many different walks of life. There's no such thing as running out of guests for you.
Right.
And that is a beautiful thing because people will resonate with my story. They're going to resonate with your story. They're going to resonate with your past guest story. And all these stories and all these words of wisdom are going to cultivate this amazing thing that you're building out, and you're going to help a lot of people.
I appreciate it, and I hope so. I really do. It just kind of happened. Like I always talked about it in my music, and I always was kind of the guy that like gave advice and stuff. And then, you know, I'm hosting a podcast about mental health, and it's strange for me because I'm receiving so many stories and feelings and emotions and things from people that I am not the first person that you would sit down and have a conversation with if it was up to me. You know what I mean? Like I'm not that guy that's going to walk into a place and look for somebody to sit down and talk to. So for me, it's like a complete learning experience to just try to figure out how to navigate these feelings and this stuff and the different stories. Like I'm so appreciative that people come on and are vulnerable with me and open up. And yeah, it's cool. I like to talk about the triumphs too on here. And what can you take me through like one of your greatest triumphs in life?
I say I'm living it right now.
Yeah.
We're sitting here, we're doing it.
Yeah.
This is the triumph. I've never had more purpose, and I've never felt such an impact from the things that I've done in such a short period of time. I've worked so hard at so many different things, with accolades in sales and, you know, becoming a team lead in the oil field and managing people. And
Yeah.
here
Right.
we are. This
Right.
is it.
I feel that so much too. Like I've been wanting to create for so long. I mean, I create music. I've wanted to be a creator outside of music for so long, and I just never knew how.
Yeah.
But I can relate to that so much, dude. It feels so cool to
Mhm.
be. It feels so good to be just making a difference, trying to make a difference.
And I gotta give you your flowers. I know this is your show, but god dang it.
Well,
No, but, like, really, for you to come on my pod, and then a lot of people say they wanna do this. A lot of people say, "Oh, well, either they wanna be a guest or they wanna start their own or they wanna whatever." A lot of people, a lot.
yeah,
You put your best foot forward. You're here, you're getting the reps in. And the thing is, you're putting yourself in a position to learn from so many different people. And yes, there's work involved, but the fulfillment that comes from it, like you are experiencing it firsthand.
mhm.
And I just want to give you your flowers for not only starting something, but advocating for something incredible and getting in your reps, bro, because we're nowhere near our 10 hours, our 10,000 hours.
No, no, yeah. Well, I appreciate that a
And
lot,
just the
man.
beginning, and I can see the growth. So this one's for you. Come on.
I appreciate it. No, it feels good though. It feels good. It feels good. And man, I just learning so many different things about doing a podcast and about just voice cadence. And man, this I could talk for so long about the things that I've learned and how, or even just how Chat GPT has helped me organize things. And man, I don't know if that's cheating as much as I use Chat GPT for writing descriptions and video captions and all of that stuff, dude. I made it organize all my, go back through all of our chats and pick out every single video description I've ever asked you to make and organize it in this one thread based on, like, give me a date, give me the platform, give me all that, like everything.
Bro,
And so, like,
you have to. You
yeah,
have to. We
yeah,
don't have the time to do
no,
everything else.
no,
It's like, and that's what I was saying about this day and age and having the tools that we have, bro, because I could not have done this while having a business and relationship and all this other. There's no possible way could I have done this without the tools that we have today.
yeah. It's
No way.
crazy. I'm just like, hey, and I just use voice to text on Chat GPT for the most of the time too. And I'm like, hey, write me a description for episode 9 of the pod featuring Alexander J. Blah blah blah. Gave him a little, gave it a little whatever, and it just wrote me this just completely eloquent,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm
Slip
like,
it out
yes,
there. Done.
yes,
Yes. One
boom.
button. Bing.
Yeah. So, man, it's cool to be learning a new craft and something that's so impactful.
Yeah.
What does Alexander J advocate for? Like,
Oof.
we advocate for mental health here. What's your message? What are you trying to make happen?
Good question. Good question. Man, there's a lot of avenues I could jump down right now. And the first thing that popped into my head was the overwhelming amount of wisdom that you can find online. I feel like I'm just bombarded with people I've never met talking about things that we'd have to have conversations as kids to hear from our grandparents, right? Like that wisdom was instilled in me, I'm sure in you at a young age by
Oh
people
yeah.
that were pivotal in our lives. And I advocate for people to seek new experiences in life, to try new things, to not be scared to fail. And that was the big thing for me, was like giving all of me to all of you. 100% unfiltered, live, no BS. This is who I am. And I was scared of who I was and what people might think. And then I just flipped the script. I was like, well, this is my opportunity to learn. This is my opportunity to make the impact that I want. And I know that the way that I step is respectful and loving and with purpose. So I advocate for people to go try new shit, go fail.
Well, and failure is so cool too, because it teaches you something every time. It's only when you try the same thing over and over without changing your approach that failure sucks.
Yeah.
But man, go out there. Yeah, go out there and fail. Go out there and try new stuff, and you're going to get knowledge from it. It's going to give you instructions on how to do it better next time. You're going to grow as a person. I totally support that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and you're absolutely right as far as like it giving you instructions, because I love that you said that, and that's so true. Is read the room, right? Like when you're trying something new, like us watching back our tapes,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh man, I say, 1,000 times that episode. Or I said no, whatever it is, 1,000 times. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to try and take that out. I'm going to breathe. I don't have to fill every second of this podcast with talking, which I feel like I have to. But these are the building blocks. And, but yeah, I like what you say, because read the room, because the instructions are there. And if it's something that you're passionate about and you haven't tried it yet, just go try. It may be for you and it may not, but at the end of the day, you're going to learn.
Yeah. Yeah, I like totally what you said there. I've learned a lot. I think I've failed quite a bit already at podcasting, just little things, and it's like one episode I turn my guest all the way down, and then I'm like, shit, I watched the video back and I'm like, man, I can barely hear him. And then, I got to turn mine all the way down, and it's just like, and then another time I didn't have my guest's microphone on, and, I'm the first episode, I'm like, yeah. When my guest is talking to me, because in normal conversation, that's what you do. Someone's talking to you, you acknowledge that you're listening by saying something, but like in a podcast, people want to hear your answer. They don't want to hear me going, yep, yeah, yeah. Like every sentence, so it's like it's been a learning process for me too, to like cut that stuff out, or like then I'll listen to the next episode and I'm saying something else a bunch of times, and I'm like, man, so
Yeah,
yeah,
no, that's great though. It's so good in this the mental health podcast, right? Like that self-reflection, to
yeah,
see what you're doing in conversation and realizing that you can be better is so dope. Not a lot of people get that opportunity.
yeah,
And like to be like, oh man, I really need to slow down, or I really need to not say that. And yeah, I'm just glad you brought that up, because I spent 30 days of 30 live streams of me being like, dude, cut it out.
yeah, right. Well, and it's so, like you said, like slow your voice down. Like me, in my brain, I'm flight mode all the time because of my panic disorder. And it's funny, I'm going to watch this episode back and be like, quit talking with your hands, but yeah. And I'm in flight mode all the time. And so like, that's how I want to talk when I'm on the pod. I want to be like, yeah. And it's so like, but like, slow it down. And so I'm learning to like be more deliberate with the things I say, because a lot of the time my mouth works faster than my brain, and I'll say half a sentence and then I'll be like, wait, there's a better way to say that. And then I'll rephrase and start something else. And so I have a lot of half thoughts that I say. And so I'm practicing, I'm learning a lot. We learn a lot from these things for sure.
I can relate 100%, because I realize that I don't land the plane a lot. And I got ADD brain. I've never been diagnosed, but I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
It's proud and it's loud.
Same.
And so, yeah, you get on a tangent, and let's say you're talking about a family member, and then you say the word dirt bike, and you're like, and then all of a sudden you're talking about dirt bikes, and it's like, you never even finished your story, dude.
Yeah.
Like, figure it out.
Yeah. That's one of my biggest fears doing this podcast, is because it's tough for me to listen to what you're saying and take it in just as being curious, while at the same time I'm trying to think about my next thing that I'm going to say after you're done. And then on top of that, I have things that are popping up related to what you're saying that I want to go off on a side tangent. And so like, I have not. I've done it in my last podcast, Raw Emotion. I had like 5 or 6 episodes of that. There was a few times where we would get talking, and then I would be like,
Yeah.
so and the plane didn't land, but I feel like I've done a decent job so far
You
in
have.
this podcast.
You have.
And so like, man, it's tough though. And so I can relate to that totally.
Mhm. Bro, and I think one of the most human things you can do is acknowledge it right then and there. Be like, where was I?
Yeah.
I ask that all the time. I'm like, man, I can't come up with this word right now. Like,
Yep.
I'm a human. This stuff happens. I'm not perfect.
No.
And that's the beauty of what we're doing, is just showing that imperfection is perfect.
Well,
It's
and doing
okay.
it live is tough too. Like it's so different for me to just even like, I'm in front of people on stage and that's it. And then so for me to be like having to listen to myself while watching the pod back and like watching myself on here and like being live for people and possibly screwing up what I'm saying and my panic disorders going crazy, and like I feel like it's kind of therapeutic for me to be doing this. I think I just swallowed a bug.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
On this episode of
Yeah. No, but it feels good. And I feel like I don't know if you feel that too, but like just I feel like I'm growing as a person just from the podcast.
Definitely. And that also ties into that mental health thing too, though, because there is the positive side of that. But like I said, with my Crohn's flaring up for the last 2 weeks, I've had to pause my show, like in the middle of the show, to go run to the bathroom because my
Yeah.
stomach is jacked up. But that throws my diabetic stuff off, and then it screws up my cognitive function. So I'm like, man, I don't feel like I'm progressing. I don't feel like I'm progressing conversationally right now. Like, it's hard for me to take in information and, like you said, run a live show, which is listen, digest, then turn that to segue to ask the questions. And I'm so rich to touch on severe stress. That's what's been going on. We in it, brother.
Yep. I feel that too with my I have vestibular migraines, and so I get vertigo really bad from all kinds of cool stuff like cured meat and caffeine and alcohol and high sodium and MSG. Like there's all these things that I've had to change about my life. And so sometimes I'll have an episode,
Yeah.
and it gets to where like I got brain fog real bad too, and I like can't concentrate and I just want to lay down. So I totally can relate to like having to deal with some struggles and stuff. I'm just waiting to have like a full-blown panic attack or something on stream and have to like, guys, I'm gonna have to like, and just like end it for,
Yeah.
but it
Right.
hasn't happened yet. So
Yeah, no, and if it does, like, I think it's totally okay to acknowledge that. And I really have not acknowledged what I'm telling you guys right now on my podcast about my Crohn's being flared up. I do want to talk about that on my show tonight because it's real, and I want to bring as much value to my listeners as possible. And I don't feel like I have been able to because of my fluctuations. And but yeah, we're getting better. We're on the mends. I'm feeling great today.
good,
So
good.
blessed.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you want to leave with the viewers?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think there is. I want to tell the viewers that, if you're struggling, because we're here on a mental health podcast, so I think it's so important. If you're struggling, there's a few small things that I change in my life and they work for me, so you can try them out as well. And I'm not saying you should do these things, but I'm saying these are the things that work for me. If you're struggling, I start making my bed in the morning. Start with a W, something so small. Maybe a cold shower, turning on the cold shower. Shock the body a little bit. But there's monotony that happens in your world, right? And then all of a sudden this routine starts to set in, and life can feel tough in those moments. It feels like you're walking through mud. But if you find yourself not either listening to podcasts or listening to music or doing something like that than maybe you used to, switch it up. Just grab one little thing in life and try and alter your mindset. Put on good music with good frequency, or go to the gym. Go stretch at a gym. You know, you don't even have to work out. Just do something different with your routine. And yeah, I think that's what I want to leave with people. And then love on the people that are loving on you, and love on the people that aren't loving you. And yeah, just be people helping people.
Hit the clap, hit the applause for me one time, please. Thank you. I gotta figure my buttons out, man. I don't even want to say anything else, really. I mean, that's such a beautiful way. That's such a beautiful message, and it really resonates, you know, and it should resonate with a lot of people to just love on the people that love you. You know, that's so important. Family. The older I get to, the more I just kind of realize that family is so crucial in everything that we do. You know, while we're younger, we get so caught up in doing things for ourselves and experiences and this and that. But man, family is such a great thing.
Preach.
Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on. I know we got to get you out of here and get you ready for round 2 here in a few.
Yeah, I got to hit up my chat GPT and be like, dude, Rizzle's coming on. Get something out quick.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for everything that you shared. It was really an honor to have you on, and I hope that people can take something from this for sure.
I really appreciate it, man. And again, you know, I want to give you your flowers for giving people a voice and a chance to be heard through all the trials and tribulations and triumphs in their lives, because you don't answer these questions in everyday conversations, and everybody has a story and they do deserve to be heard. So I appreciate you. And the other thing is too, bro, there's no such thing as competition in this world. There's enough fruit for us all to eat. And that's why I'm so excited to be doing this and then having you on my show at 8 o'clock.
Yep.
Because we can all eat. We can all eat, and people resonate with different voices. And so we are here to just be the voice that, you know, hopefully someone somewhere can gravitate towards.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And I watch your show, and I'm proud to watch you do it, and I'm proud to be a part of it and be able to be on it and be able to share the same creative space, you know, with you. And it's cool. I think we got something special going on here.
Bro.
So
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell
Cool,
yeah.
man. Well, hey, you know what, chat? Thank you, everybody that tapped in. Old Man Burger, Rich, you guys are great. Have a good night, and I hope you guys can go over to People Helping People Live. Give them a sub, give them a like, and we'll see you guys at 8 o'clock.
Like this. Subscribe to the channel. We'll see you at 8 o'clock.
Yes, sir. All right, we're out of here.
Deuces.
Later.